going to
Okay, no, that's fine. Uh, as I was saying, I kind of backed into this when uh, a good number of years ago we started a program uh, in El Salvador for faculty and staff from the University of Scranton and Scranton Prep. We took the faculty and staff, anyone who would like to participate, and we went to El Salvador and wanted to try to get a sense of the reality of the struggles of the people there, and so that we might be able to bring that back to Scranton and to our classes and our friends and the parishes, the people that we live and work and with and know. And one of the places that we stopped was the Santa Luisa School. And the sister who ran the school called us, myself and Marie Karam, who's one of the great people at the University of Scranton, and pulled us into her office, and she just was dismayed, and she said, uh, financially, she couldn't pay the next month's bills. She didn't know how she was going to resolve their bills, and she showed us her books, and it was 0000. She said, and what we're going to do. It just so happened that that was the year that I had just celebrated my 25th anniversary in the priesthood. And a lot of people sent me financial gifts. So, and we hadn't done anything with. They were all kind of waiting there. So Marie and I kind of huddled in the corner. I said, I think we can address this. So I said, sister, how much do you need? And so she told us what the difference was. And in the big picture, it wasn't that much, but it was more than they had. So first thought was, we'll just give them all the money. And we said, sister, we can take care of this for you this month. So then we thought about it, and I said, no. I said, let's not give her everything that was given. Let's give her what she asks for, what she needed, and then with the rest of the money, let's invest in a CD, maybe for the future. So that kind of launched really the Scope Foundation, and we then began to develop uh, a program of sponsorship for children. And so the amount each each year developed a little bit. It's now at $75, which is very modest. It doesn't pay for all the children's needs, but it's enough money with a few other donations to push the finances of the school over the top. So we don't run the school, we don't finance the school, but we make up the difference between what they get in income from the government and other sources and what they need to stay open. So for 21 years, thanks to the providence of God, it's all of this is the providence of God because at one point for 7 years I was living in Rome, uh, and one of the officers of our program was in Florida. Someone else was in Denver, and someone else was in Philadelphia. And somehow, in the providence of God, we always managed to come up with just what we needed. And so I don't know how you can be a part of this just as a practical um, business person, or this is all about having faith in the providence of God. And I think our faith in the providence of God brings about God's response, and we've always gotten what we need and more than what we need at times. And so it's a practical journey because we are keeping the school open, but it's a faith journey as well. And I feel like everyone who's involved in it should invest in the whole thing. And the something about the children. Uh, these children are the poorest of the poor from around San Salvador. Um, they they come from really very materially poor families. Many of them have to walk 2 hours in the morning to get to school, which opens at 7. So they're walking from 5 a.m.
Wow.
and so often through dangerous neighborhoods who are and are some of often they're harassed by the gangs and so forth. The school itself is the middle of like the worst neighborhood, has high walls, razor wire at the top, but inside the school, once you go through the gates and the gates are closed, uh, I kind of describe it as a city of joy because the kids are full of joy and life. And when I go into, I've been there many times. I'm going to go into the classroom and I ask, kids, what's your favorite thing to do? And all the hands will go up all at once and say, school, school, And and I don't think it's rehearsed. It just comes out spontaneously. They know that this is their ticket and pathway to a better life. And even at young age, they know this is really good. And the school goes from a first grade through the ninth grade. Uh, Without a ninth grade diploma, they could never get a job. And if they get a ninth grade diploma, they may be able then to go to high school if they get some sponsorship. And maybe a few may be able to go to university. Um, but getting the ninth grade diploma is really important for them. And it's in a Catholic school environment. It's run by uh, the sisters St. Vincent de Paul and very dedicated lay teachers, really wonderful men and women of faith. And they so they're in this Christian value centered environment, uh, and that is to counteract a lot of what happens outside the walls, you know. And so it's giving them a foundation. So the kids come in their simpler clothes to school, and then they put on their uniform. And the uniform is basically either a t-shirt and blue pants or like a little uniform jumper for the girls and stuff. Uh, and So that everybody looks the same in school. And so the so it's a wonderful place. And if there's an opportunity to go and visit the school, it would be worth doing. Uh, I feel that we kind of tripped over it, but I think God pushed us over it. Guys, no, get over there. Um, so we we our sponsorship is financial and but it's also a prayer sponsorship. And part of the purpose of Scope is, in addition to helping finance a school, it's building a connection between people who sponsor a child and the mission of sponsoring a child and the Christian mission of doing that. It builds a spiritual connection. They may never write to each other or speak to each other, but we send each sponsor a picture of the child, and hopefully they frame it, put up in their home, and then they pray for the child. It becomes a part of their family, their extended family. Uh, so I hope it's not just a check written. I hope it's more than that. It's in trying to embrace the Christian responsibility for those who are less fortunate. So often, I don't want to go on and on, but so often I feel that, especially when I've gone there to visit, that the only difference between one of these children who is sitting behind me in this picture and me is in in the mysterious providence of God. I was born in New York to a middle class family, was able to go to a good Catholic parochial school, uh, had very good values, lived in a safe environment, good family surrounding me, getting into a good Catholic Jesuit university at Scranton. Uh, and that the only difference between them and me is I was given that opportunity. I didn't deserve it. I didn't ask for it. It fell into my lap. And so I feel uh, have God having been so generous to me, and I think we can each say that in different ways. Um, Maybe the invitation is, how can I give something back to God? How can I, so if if it can help one child to have a better life and have a future in their country, not that they have to leave the country to have a future, have a future in their own country, in their own culture, with their families and friends and so forth. I think that's a really important thing to do. So uh, this is what we're about. We've been doing it for 21 years, and please God, it will continue into the future. That's my hope. Uh, and so I welcome you into this journey with us, and thank you for your willingness to get involved. And I hope it's more than just busy work. I hope it's more than that. I hope it's a mission that we share. We share the mission. This is a mission. Uh, so that is kind of my initial spiel on this whole thing.